listen proves that she might take interest in you. But that's the only reason why she would. She's not a good person, she's only cute. And this selfish, shallow piece of shit inside of her makes her ugly as sin. Time and time again, I've given her a chance. It almost believed that there was a human inside of her that really fucking cared. But I asked for too much, invested in a hollow, empty shell. The kind that gets filled with superficial trash. Not a soul, no heart. My friend, the monster eats and sleeps and breathes the struggles of individuals just like us, sustained by your grief. My friend, the narcissist only cares about how good you can make her look, emotionally handicapped.
Hello, everyone. This is episode 13 of the Hot Garbage Podcast. And Tyler Katzman has his shirt off again. Two episodes in a row.
What? Why am I in trouble here?
Hit him with that 2-time. You're not in
What?
trouble. It's
You guys are making me feel like I'm in trouble here.
it's just a fact.
It's just your neck tattoo, okay?
And right before we started, these guys were just going super crazy, being really funny. But then the show starts and they go back to being boring assholes.
I resent those remarks. Maybe represent, but also resent.
So it's episode 13, lucky number 13, unlucky number 13.
Is it really?
I don't know. Are you superstitious?
No, I meant like, are you counting as actually?
Oh no, it's actually episode 13.
Ah.
So if you're superstitious, something really bad or really good is going to happen tonight.
I got a message from the one viewer that I actually know, and they were complaining about us not uploading on time.
I don't doubt it.
So I totally uploaded the YouTube episode instantly, but I forgot to actually fix like the captions. and
Oh,
stuff.
so he's one of the few people that actually watch on YouTube,
Is
right?
he? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's on. You know what it is? I think it's online, but it's not public. I think that's what it is. I'm gonna check right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swap it
So
over. Sorry. I'm sorry, dude. I thought it would have been uploaded.
hitting you with another double upload.
Woo!
There's no double upload tonight. Not for the audio. I'm actually on point
Just
this
the
time.
YouTube. Just the YouTube. I told him he was also like, well, I hate iTunes and I'm on Android, and I really just want you guys to upload on Spotify. And I was like, I don't know if we can do that, but we're on Podbean, and so shout outs to all the Podbean viewers. I told them to
Shout-outs
download
to
that up.
Podbean. Podbean's actually supposed to distribute it to like all the podcast plays, so it should be available wherever you can get podcasts.
On Spotify as well.
Anywhere that has podcasts, it should be on there.
I'm not sure how Spotify works. I was like, dude, I don't upload. I don't do any of it. So
that's why I pay like $15 a month for the service so that our podcast goes everywhere.
Do you really pay that? I feel like I should contribute. I feel bad now.
I know. I meant to ask you guys about it, but like I just never did. And now we're in this awkward position where I forgot to tell you. Actually, I just realized that it's not that much money, so I wasn't too worried about it. But we can have that discussion off of podcast or in the middle of it so everybody can hear it.
No, let's not worry
Let's
about
talk
it.
about money. Let's talk about
It might be good
how
content.
much we've invested in this dumb cast.
I'll be honest. They paid for the graphic design and they paid for any upload material. I have put $0 in. I am a non-contributor. I'm a cuck boy. You guys can now disclose your information.
I just did the graphic thing. That's it. I'm pretty sure.
I tried to get a graphic design person in, and they're the kind of person who always complains about people not paying for their art. So I was like very upfront about asking to pay for art, but they also, I don't think, do much graphic design on the computer. Like they're really great. She's a really great artist, but she in no way does graphic design on the computer. She bought like a brush and was telling me about it, and so I was trying to like help her out, get her into that like idea of making stuff online. But I don't know. It was one of those things where like once I told her the idea, I never got any messages back. So it's just like, okay,
That happens, man. That's okay.
yeah,
Everyone
it's
thinks
okay.
they know a person, but then it's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard.
you
How many
know,
people actually follow through?
no, I mean, and here's the other thing is like, you really do have to pay your artists, and I don't know if that was like an issue, and she's concerned about the online realm of people and friends exploiting her. So, you know, I'm not like trying to judge, but I'm just saying, you know, get paid for your art too. But also, it happens. We found someone.
I do love my guy. My guy's really nice. Shout outs to Adam.
It,
once again.
no, I'm really excited with
Dude, yeah.
with how it came out. It looks great.
Our graphic looks sick as fuck.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
it does look fantastic.
You know
Alright.
else looks sick as fuck, Carson?
Tyler with no shirt.
Jimmy and his homemade cheese dip.
Dude.
Jimmy's homemade. Jimmy, can you tell me a little bit about your homemade cheese dip?
It's nothing special, but it's actually like delicious. It's pretty much just like, so if you're looking for that classic nacho cheese like deliciousness without having to pay the premium for the nacho cheese deliciousness, you just get a brick of Velveeta and you like cut up a little bit of that, throw it in with some milk and a little salsa, maybe some peppers if you're feeling fancy.
Will you put the
A little,
salsa in with the cheese?
Just no, you want to use like less salsa, just like a little bit to get like the tomatoes and the chunkiness in
Okay.
there,
Okay.
and a little bit of water. Not a lot. You want
I
to be
see
really stringent on that, you know.
You've never heard of
see.
salsa
But
con
just-
queso? That's a thing, dude.
You could even just like I mean this is so you can kind of like throw like even like some tomatoes in there if you just want to like throw tomatoes instead of salsa. That's cool. I've done that. But yeah, a little bit of Velveeta, a little bit of milk, a little bit of tomatoes, some peppers maybe, depending on how you're feeling. Maybe I throw a little crushed red pepper in there for spice because I love spicy food.
I
Ooh.
love spicy food too. Hey, can I hit you something
Yeah.
real quick? Would you ever
Yeah.
put sriracha in like a spicy sauce? Not like that, not like a normal spicy sauce.
Good question.
Like we're talking about your queso, your cheese dip and stuff. Like, would you put sriracha in something like that?
Great question.
No. I'm not the biggest sriracha person. I know there's people who are, I enjoy it on some, you know, Oriental food. I think it's good on that, but beyond that, I'm not sriracha on everything kind of person.
Tapatio, maybe? Are you a tapatio person?
Dude, tapatio is like bad.
I don't
think-
like it. I was just asking, honestly.
I think it's honestly like not that good for what it is.
Alright.
I feel like there's many sauces that do its job better than it does. So no.
I agree with that 100%.
Alienating my neighbor. I know he was a big Tapatio fan. Not Tyler. Tyrell.
I was like, it's me, your neighbor.
No. Yeah, no. Tyrell was like not a big Tapatio person. And I was just like, it's just like okay. I almost feel like
Dude.
Tabasco is like better. Am I wrong?
I honestly
I hate
haven't had
Tabasco.
Tabasco in a long time.
I hate
don't
it.
know if it's good or not.
I feel like it's just as good as Tapatio.
I mean, that says a lot, but not really at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like
mean,
Tapatio is not that good. I'm not a personal fan of it. I don't enjoy it. That's just my personal. But if you want to get into like sauces and some good sauce, I'm telling you, Gates and Sons for what it is some pretty good stuff. It's not very sweet,
What
which
it
is what I like about
is.
it. It's like a barbecue rib sauce, kind of like a pork sauce. It's really good on that stuff.
So you put it on like some sort of meat, basically.
It is a meat sauce for sure.
Fair enough. You'll have to send me what that name is. I'll have to. I like to like grill and do stuff with meat. I've been looking into like
Dude.
seasonings and sauces.
Yes.
So let me know.
Okay, yeah, Gates and Sons is the way it goes. I'll send you it. It's only available in Kansas, but there's like some distributors you can get from, aka Target.
And we're gonna post that on Facebook for all you guys out there that like to cook. You know, it's getting warm outside. Gates motherfucking sauce. Put that trick 2G in your mouth.
In your motherfucking mouth.
Your motherfucking mouth.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
Jimmy, you had me sold a Velveeta cheese, homeboy.
Dude, that's
Dude,
what I'm
she
saying,
said
man.
Velveeta cheese.
I'm saying, man, dude, some creamy stuff of that with a
Oh.
little additives, man. I'm telling you, it's the sauce of the century.
That's that good shit.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So tonight, excuse me, I was doing a little pre-podcast stretch. Sorry. We're gonna talk about should we make this a thing now? Let's just do our pre
All right,
podcast.
wait. So Jimmy,
Stretching.
you gotta do. Jimmy, can you do a G with your hands? Kind of do like
Can I
a
do
G.
what with my hands? A
You're
G?
gonna do like a G, like a little G, and then Carson, you do an A. Carson, I need you to do an A, and then I'm gonna do
what?
a Y, and now we're gay. Okay.
Hey, we're
Wait.
gay.
That shit's so backwards. Oh, on my screen.
Yeah, no, it's backwards on yours, but it's
On
right
my
on mine.
screen?
Oh,
We
it made
just
perfect
spelled- we
sense on
just
mine.
spelled
It made
Maggie.
perfect sense on mine.
Yeah, I have it. Jimmy, Carson, and then me. So that
Why do
it
I
looks
have
good
to
on
be
the
in the middle
podcast.
of the two shirtless
Nah.
dudes? That makes
You're
me
all-
the gayest out of everybody.
You are literally the tower to the Eiffel, right?
We're making a Carson sandwich on stream right now between two shirtless dudes.
Nah, okay, so
I
I gotta
love
mention the queso dip in my lovely double chin.
That's the perfect. That picture right there.
How do you do that?
You can make your own queso dip, and that's the logo right there.
I don't know how you do that.
Just Jimmy's fuck ugly mug on the front. Like Jimmy's
Wait,
Guagdiggly's queso dip.
Wait,
Hey,
do,
buy
do-
it, buy
do
it.
that one more time for me.
Just call it guac
Okay.
sauce.
All right, I got that screenshot. Thank you.
Fuck yeah,
That's all I wanted.
dude, edit that shit. Guac sauce and put it on our Facebook page. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
We should make our own queso
Oh,
dip.
dude.
I would be okay with that. We just, like ship it. We just like mail it to each other and keep adding shit to it.
I make homemade dip. Mine's cheap as fuck though. Tyler, you guys know Jeff Nation. You remember Jeff?
Yeah, he's making wine now, ain't he?
Yeah, he's making hella wine right now.
Hella wine.
I'll dig some wine.
When I was in college, we were roommates for a while. When I was in college, he just made a dip one night. And it was just like it was like the cheese sauce that comes in a little jar and Hormel chili. That's it. He's mixed together, heated up. It was fucking
Chili
bomb.com. So shouts out to Jeff Nation for showing me how to make some bomb ass queso dip. Fuck, I want queso dip now. That sounds so good.
That really does sound good. I didn't
Jimmy,
get
what
any
have
shit.
you done?
That's what I was eating before the show.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to go to the store, get some Hormel chili and some cheese sauce now and just dip it up.
At least your guys' stores. I mean, my store is kind of close too, but fuck, I shouldn't.
Yeah, but you live in a place like we want to go to the store. It takes you like 45 minutes. It takes me like 10 minutes to get there. Not even.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm used to living like across the street from the store, so I'm kind of like, I've been a shark out of water for about a year and a half now, where it's like, oh, I have to go to the store to eat. That's like
Don't you live
Wait,
next
what?
to
a block away.
You have Target, don't you? You're still over in the same place, right?
Yeah, I mean, Target doesn't have much for groceries. It's more like Albertsons, which is like probably 2 blocks away, maybe 3. Depends on how you count blocks. That's like 3 short blocks, 2 long blocks.
Where do you guys
And,
go? Where do you guys go for stuff like that? Like if you're like, okay, I want some queso dip and some Hormel chili or whatever you need to make your sauce. Like where are you going? Where in your head is the place to go? Like for me, it's Albertsons.
Yeah, I would
I
go for a
fucking
Cubs
love
if I
Albertsons.
could. Yeah.
Okay, I go to Albertsons a lot. I used to go to a local place called Town and Country in Bozeman that has hell of deals on like everything, dude. I used to like eat so cheap there.
Yeah,
I
PNC's
don't
good shit.
know.
Yeah, there's like a Walmart right by me that I could probably get half the stuff cheaper at, but I just don't like. I hate going to Walmart.
who doesn't? Who doesn't?
It's not like I mean I definitely don't like the corporation, but overall like just the experience of going to Walmart sucks ass. You know what I mean? Like you got to deal with the people in the aisles like who are always just like some grumpy motherfucker, or, like some person who has like 6 kids and is like screaming at every single kid, "Hey, get over there! Quit touching that!" You know, like kids are going crazy. I mean, that's what they do.
It is
you know,
people
but
at Walmart.
it's
for a
just like-
reason.
Yeah, it's just an uncomfortable, awkward experience. And like even if you show up there, like I know a lot of people who complain about going there in like high volume times, you know, and that's definitely the worst. But I go there at like low volume times because I hate to shop when there's a lot of people around. and like it's no fun. You know, there's like these janitors going around who like are cleaning up, and they're like, "Fuck you! Why are you in my way?" It's like 2 a.m. What are you doing at Walmart? You know, they're pissed off. There's some lady with her kids like taking them to Walmart at 2 a.m. and they're like livid because they have to be at Walmart and they just want soda to keep up. And they're like, "Give me the fucking soda, mom." No, we can't drink it until you buy it. Hold on.
What about
And they're just, like,
yodeling
beating the
dude, though?
kids. You know, yodeling dudes.
Yodeling kid.
I haven't had yodeling kids.
Yodeling
Dude,
Kid's
Yodeling-
great though.
Yodeling Kid dropped a new album. I'm pretty sure.
It's really good actually. He's a
Is it fire?
fantastic singer. He really is, honestly.
Jimmy, do you know what we're
Okay.
talking about?
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Tyler, drop some knowledge on this motherfucker.
It's just some kid that starts yodeling in Walmart. And
Boom.
he's really good at it, but it's just people are just like Walmart weird, and then like people have done like like EDM remixes of it and all that other fun stuff.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
But then he dropped a country single, and it sounded fantastic. He's an amazing singer. Props out to Yodel Boy, well, Yodel Kid, whatever his name.
I mean, yodeling leads to country, dude. That's
Yodeling's
just very,
very, very talented, actually.
yodeling is really hard.
It
You,
is.
you gotta respect that for sure.
So shout out to the people that said he couldn't make it. He's making it out of Walmart.
Wait. Was there anybody out there who said he couldn't make it? don't-
People that
don't know
don't
if it's a thing.
understand music. They're just like, this kid's so bad. He's yodeling. It sounds like his voice is cracking.
Who the fuck is so high up on their high horse where they're like, Yodeling Kid at Walmart? Fuck him. He's never gonna accomplish anything with his life. Fuck
A
that
good
kid.
majority of Minnesota in Facebook. So get
That's-
ready. Get ready for your liberalism.
That's fucked up.
Get ready for your freedom.
Who does that? That's messed up.
America, rich people.
Tyler, I have a question. What happened? Why are you using a different mic tonight? I'm just gonna ask. Why are you doing it?
I honestly.
I was trying to DM this.
Oh no, I'll call him out. I just gotta ask.
Oh, is it really bad? It looks really.
Because Jimmy just typed in our secret chat, Tyler, you're breathing in your mic a lot. And so I'm just like, fuck this.
I was trying to be nice.
Bring out the
No,
open mic.
it's fine.
Why are you-
I've been actually watching the stream, and it's fine. It doesn't trigger it on the stream's end, which is okay. I'm just sorry you guys are getting fucked, but
Dude, it sounds like
Really?
you need to
It's
have
not
like
triggering on-
whatever this thing is. You need one of these. What's it called?
Well,
has
he's
one.
using his headset mic like an ass.
Yeah, but yours doesn't
It's
even
directional. He's breathing right into it. That's the problem. Is it needs to be far away from.
Jimmy has the foam thing that at least blocks.
It's not even the pop
S's.
filter. He's breathing right into
Pop
it.
filter. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
He needs to just move it away
I
from
just
his
didn't
face,
wanna
and that's
use this for
directional.
once.
You need a pop filter, a piece of foam.
I mean,
on there, at
it
least.
sounds bad enough with it is, but you're
I mean,
breathing right
fuck,
into it. It's killing
it
me.
does
dude.
not sound good.
Do you guys hear anything right now?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
I can hear you, but no, I think he's asking if we hear like. No, yeah, I don't hear breathing right now, but like your S's sound like this, and. But it's okay. We'll be good for tonight. We'll be fine.
We'll see.
For future reference.
I'm watching it on the thingy, and it doesn't trigger very often. I've been sitting here watching.
That sounds much better though. You moved it out
Yeah,
of your splash
It
zone
already sounds better.
from your mouth.
Are we
Sounds much
live
better.
on Twitch right now?
I'm literally going through
We're
three different.
not.
No, we're not.
No.
I'm going through three
You
different
killed the Twitch
styles
stream.
of sound, I guess, today. So shout outs to me doing testing live.
Yeah. So we've been going for about 20 minutes now or so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been.
It's going for a while, but then no, I like it though.
The
I think-
cheese dip is interesting, dude. The cheese dip
As a
is
viewer,
complex.
as a listener and both a podcast person, like someone who's on the show, I enjoy the random conversations that just take us just like in random fucking directions because you always get some interesting content. Like I said when we started the show, you never know what you're gonna get on a nightly basis. Tyler,
It's totally hot
What?
garbage.
absolutely, it is hot garbage. I want to know why you typed "I like white girls" on your "What You Doing" segment. So, totally awkward transition into that. Let's hit it.
Yeah, wait.
Um,
Isn't your fiance like not entirely white?
Mhm.
Now I got to hear more about this. This
I
is
like
pretty-
white girls and I love white girls.
Yeah.
Big
this
difference.
is-
I mean, haven't you guys ever watched like a Twitch stream and just thought to yourself, "Man, I wish I could be this white girl that's just making all this money." Like you watch these tit streamers, you watch like all these like you go on like League of Legends and they're like, "Lol, I just made this cosplay for fun and I just wanted to show you guys. I'm sorry." And it's like 6,000 comments and it's some like girl with like a Lux wig on. Like you see that and you just think to yourself, "Man, so easy. Like what is more easy? Support?
Just be sneaky.
That's
Support?"
because men are pigs.
But
Just
do
only
you-
think about one
But
thing.
do you know why Sneaky
Exactly.
can do what he's doing? Because he is cosplaying as a
'Cause he's
white
hot.
girl. He's cosplaying
Yeah.
as a white girl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Because he's hot.
So when I say I like white girls, what I mean is I like
You like sneaky.
the fundamental idea of what becomes from a white girl. If you're a white girl, you're sneaky, right? You get to be like one of the best AD carries in North America and one of the most attractive girls in LCS right now. In and out of LCS, dude. But at the
He's
same
got it.
time, what?
He's got it.
He's got it all. He had what
Yeah.
only Michael Santana had when he first started playing League of Legends with his long, luxurious L'Oreal hair. And now it's sneaky, and now it's the people that can change their life and everything. So, in essence, I am cosplaying this weekend because I'm going to my anime convention, and I have my 2 female cosplayers ready. So I'm ready to be a white girl and see what it feels like.
You have 2 female cosplays ready.
I do have 2 female.
I saw the Naruto. You showed it before, but I haven't seen the female cosplays. I'm excited.
That's because it's my first time. So they're actually not white. They're technically Asian. They're not white per se, but
Right.
the skin tone is white.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I hope your experience is better than mine.
What's your experience?
I mean, it wasn't like dressing up like a girl, but I dressed up as Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I totally like got hit on walking to my car by some creepy old dude who just wanted to like bang me, and it was very awkward and not fun. So good luck with the creepy old dudes.
I don't know if it'll be the same. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of like
We were
it's
kind
a-
of like downtown at like midnight, so yeah.
Okay, that's a little different. But I guess I would be honored if I got creepy people to hit on me because that means I did a good job. If that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, no,
don't
we actually
want
did a
to.
really good job too. I felt like we did a pretty good job. I can share some DM pictures to prove it, but not gonna post this on the internet. But also at the same time, I feel like we did a pretty good job. You know, like I think we were the best dressed at the party. I mean, it was like little Missoula, Montana, so there wasn't really that many people dressed up to begin with.
Right.
But like at least like second or third best at the very least, you know, in the place. We got tons of compliments. And I also got hit on by a dude as a dude. So
A dude playing a dude hit on by another dude.
It's a dude playing
Yeah.
a dude pretending to be another dude.
it was interesting. It was not something I expected. I now like have a lot of respect for women who complain about people just like hitting on them on the streets, because like, you know, I've never hit on some girl like too creepily or like said anything too bad, and then like you go and you dress up like that and some dude just like totally tries to take you home, and you're like,
It's
I
that
now
easy.
I now understand.
That's what I'm kind of excited for. I mean, like if I do
You're
this
excited
right,
for
I
it,
get to
okay.
experience a whole level of technically sexism that I would never be able to understand, and that's great. I love learning more about different cultures and lifestyles, and this is a good experiment.
Yeah.
So
If that's what you're looking for, I'm sure you'll get it. Just walk downtown or anywhere there's like a general public and not just the convention community, and you'll get it. I'm sure.
I mean, I better, dude. I shaved my arms, dude. I shaved my armpits, dude. I'm like ready.
basically what Tyler's saying is he wants people to stop cosplaying as Sailor Moon and start cosplaying more like fucking Daddario or some shit from
Felix.
Dragon Ball Z. Cosplay like the ugly characters, not the hot characters, is what Tyler's trying to say. Less cosplays
I
of,
think he wants
of
Felix cosplays.
stereotypical
is
white
what I was
women and more cosplays of other things. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think that's the opposite.
thinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
It
gotta
was like
dress up as
whoever
the
you
white
are,
girl.
whoever you are, dress up as a white girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So
if
you're on the
Mexican.
other end. You're saying doesn't
You
matter
need to
who
dress
you
up as a
are.
white girl.
Cosplay as a white girl.
Yes.
That's almost worse.
Understand white girl oppression. White girls have problems with like people hitting on them and
But
other things. Understand their oppression and dress up like them
I mean,
and
and,
just understand what it feels like to
empathize
be
with those
walk a day in
poor
their
white
shoes.
women.
and any girl works. I'm just saying, if we're looking at popularity, like you go to like Twitch and like on like
Jeez.
Reddit and stuff, it's majority of them are just white girls. So
Those poor oppressed white women.
You're right. You're right. we should just be worried about women in general. Dress
Think
up as
about-
women to
think about how
understand their
Jessica
oppression.
Negri feels. Okay.
What if you wait? Who's that?
Wait, you don't know who that is?
What?
Carson.
Hang on. I'm Google in process. Oh, she's like a famous cosplayer.
Very famous. Like
Like
The
hundreds
most?
of thousands of dollars a month famous. Like the #1 most requested nudes on like.
I've
Pornhub
heard about
probably.
her like cosplay for years now. I can't even tell you how many years. It's just been so long.
It's been at least 5 since her surgery. So
At least 5. Yeah.
Since her surgery, huh?
yeah.
Didn't she? Was she the one that got her waist like adjusted?
No, she got the.
That was the other
she
crazy
got,
lady.
she
I
got
thought
the,
so.
The lift. So.
I
Yeah,
can
the
see
boob-
that clearly. Yeah,
boob
just from
looks,
Google.
yeah.
Which is that I have no judgment against that. You know.
No,
I'm
I
just
mean if
glad
you're
people
going
can
for
be
cosplay,
comfortable.
especially.
I mean, I'm glad that they're just comfortable with who they are now. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So what if you're already a stereotypical white woman? Who do you cosplay as then? Because you can't like cosplay as like yourself. That's boring.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you do. You'd be like, I'm a white woman. I'm on the internet, and give me views.
But now you get this complex layer, because now instead of me saying I'm specifically gonna dress up as this person who's a girl from this show, you can literally pick anything. You can literally dress up as Goku and make a femme Goku, and it's literally just hot, and it probably looks great. And you can either mix it so that you have the there's like the more lewd cosplay where it's like probably just like a tank top or bra or something, or you can go full out with the outfit, like the hair and like the full suit and everything. Like Jessica is a really good example of that, because she does a lot of cosplays that are like kind of borderline lewd, but then like the really good like World of Warcraft full armor sets. So then you have everything. If you're already like a girl, then
Yeah.
you have everything available to you.
Free range.
Literally anything should work. I've been telling all my friends, don't become prostitutes if you want money. Don't be strippers. Just be a cosplayer. You'll literally make way more money and take off your clothes way less.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
How do cosplayers make money other than like Twitch?
It's kind of like publicity. So like Instagram, Twitter followers and stuff will get them money from sponsorships. There's what is it now? Coffee or Patron is really big, where people will pay you monthly to see like special cosplays and stuff, or like behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
photos.
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon, yeah. And then obviously you have like your shop where you have like prints, and people will buy your prints and hang them up and stuff.
The merch, dude. The merch is where a lot of people make.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty much. I know that there's this famous cosplayer. Oh, something Bo. I should know her name because I watched her quite a bit. And she talks about how they're just like, why do you do so much like lewd shit? Like this isn't cosplay at all. And she's like, literally, lewd cosplays make up 80% of my revenue. It's like what keeps me in the game to at least do cosplay.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't doubt it.
So.
No doubt.
So that's where the money usually comes from, at least.
I guess that makes sense. All right. Speaking of cosplay,
Wait. I need to jump in real quick. One more thing I forgot.
All right.
I have the data here from the poll that Carson put up.
Fuck.
I just wanted to
Can we
make sure
not?
to take some time to go over this.
No,
poll.
I feel like we should.
Could we
Carson
not?
was very confident in this.
Oh no.
So
No, it's okay. We all
I
know
just
I
want to
won.
start
It's
off.
fine.
Microwave got 2 votes.
Hold
which is
on.
great, which is
For all the
great.
viewers who weren't watching last week, we had a poll versus what was a better invention, microwaves or freezers?
Right. And I'd like to announce that this post that I did, that you did, Carson, reached 186 people. So great job on that.
Yes.
So with a whopping 2 votes, we have microwave.
Shouts out to David Hewley.
He's one of my
You're a
friends.
fucking.
And Carson,
You're a
obviously
fucking
the other vote.
And then I'd like to go over Freezer, that won with a whopping 14 votes. Shout out to me, Jimmy, Hong, Kyle, Hale, Taylor, Jamie, Alex, John,
Really gonna
Nathan,
do this?
Stephanie, my godmother, Nathan, Daniel, Luke Moore, and Paul. Shout outs to you guys. One of you guys is going to get a postcard. I'm going to raffle it off, and I'm going to DM you for your postcard.
Good thing we don't have any more fucking viewers. Or
We all have
reading
to
that shit
sign it.
forever.
We're going to sign his postcard. It's
Oh.
going to literally be Carson apologizing for his horrible idea.
I would do that. I would sign postcards for everybody. That's
All right, that's it. That's all.
The thing-
Microwaves are worthless
the thing I want to.
in comparison. In comparison.
What?
The
What?
numbers
In
don't
comparison.
lie.
No.
The numbers
In
do not
comparison.
lie.
In comparison.
What?
They're
in the
worthless
actual
in
fuck
comparison.
is our profile picture on Facebook?
Oh yeah, I
Tyler?
just changed that.
I commented on the post, and what I see is Jimmy's fuck ugly mug staring me back in the face.
It's okay. It'll go back tomorrow.
Mitch, no, that cannot go back. That has to stay.
Okay, it'll stay.
Okay,
I'll
thank you,
turn off
but-
temporary then.
It caught me so
Hold
off guard.
on.
It threw me off my
Hold
entire
on.
idea. What the fuck?
I did not consider
It'll go back tomorrow. Don't worry. Anyways,
No. Can we alternate like every other day? We just switch it back and forth. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh.
anytime we have a troll episode, one of us is allowed to upload it and change it to Jimmy. It's episode's troll.
I want that picture moved
We
to
can only
the
pick
right,
it once
please.
a week. We each get, or one a month. Each of us can choose once a month where we think the episode's so trolly needs to be Jimmy, and then you can change the Facebook photo. That's how this goes. So I did mine for the month. Anyways, I'm sorry, Carson. I went on a tangent. Go ahead.
Jimmy is the poster child for nerdy white gamer. That picture just sums it up.
You
If you Google nerdy white gamer, that's the first thing you should see.
Those you guys dare try and like make this as like some meme economy. leave that in the dirt.
We don't even have to try. It's gonna happen anyways.
No.
If we ever start up Twitch, I'm definitely adding this as a sub icon eventually.
Jimmy, what if that picture is what gets us on the map? The show just explodes after that.
Quite frankly, I don't know. It depends. If I lose my job and everyone me because they're just like, God, you're such a freak, I'll be like, okay. That's probably not good. But if it gets us on the map and it's worth something, and I don't have to lose my job.
Gotta do
that's
what
fun.
you gotta do, Jimmy.
Yeah, you gotta be a freak.
Yeah. I've got like $50 to my name right now. I would put every single one of those dollars to boosting that post on Facebook. To get reach like
I would
hundreds of
boost that.
thousands of people.
We all just
Just
need to
be like-
boost it.
Put the caption like, "Want to know what the fuck this is all about? Check out the Hot Garbage Podcast weekly Sunday nights."
Yeah, just work with us. One of those people that have the
Oh my
algorithms for Reddit, just to get some shit to the top of us Reddit. You'll save
That's
save
funny.
money.
Ask Russia. They're really good at that.
They're really good at that, man.
So
They're
our
excellent.
our poll reached 186 people, but only 16 voted. That's kind of sad.
It's because no one looks at dude. When it says 186 people, that means it showed up on. Do you look at the ads when you scroll by that shit, dude? I don't look at any ads. I haven't clicked on a single ad for Facebook in the entire like billion years I've been.
I mean,
on this.
if I see a poll, something like that, like I'd be like, look at the gifts. Like I would want to know. I'd at least stop and ask, what the fuck is this? But, anyways, I digress. We're gonna try to squeeze in some MSI analysis here. The mid-season invitational for League of Legends.
All right, all
One
you
team from each region.
Legos, tune out, turn off the podcast.
Yeah.
Go
You
check
got your
out
30
some.
minutes.
We've
Yeah.
done.
Get out.
We've done.
You got your
We've done
nacho
day
cheese
3.
recipes. Get the fuck out of here.
Come back
So
later for that
today-
nacho cheese.
Today was day 3 of the group stage, and I'm gonna let these two cucks talk about MSI because I have not been watching it as much as I
That's it?
should have.
That's the only intro you get. All right, Tyler, you go.
Oh,
Sorry.
Fuck.
No.
Okay.
Here now with some expert MSI analysis, please welcome Tyler Astrox Katzman, the official Hot Garbage League analyst. Tyler, thank you for
Hi.
joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Carson. You're looking great, by the way.
Fuck you.
Oh.
You look pretty like Carson.
You look very Carson today, by the way.
You do look very Carson.
That's not cool, man. Why do you gotta be so mean to me?
I wasn't trying to be mean. I think you look very much like yourself today. I think
Well,
you
that's
look
not
very
that's not a compliment
average
to me.
Carson.
I'm ugly as hell. I don't want to look
Well,
Carson.
I
I want to
wasn't
look.
saying that.
I want to look. I want to look Tyler. I want to look.
Well, you
Jimmy.
gotta take out the hoodie and you gotta
If
get
you were
in the
ever like,
club.
if you were ever like Carson, you look very Tyler today, or you look very Jimmy today, I'd be like, well, thank you. I needed
That's
that.
a compliment.
Through this
Thank
day.
you.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
I've been eating all this
Appreciate that.
cheese dip, dude. I don't feel very Jimmy as you're putting it. I feel very.
You
chunky.
look very, very Jimmy right now.
I don't
promise
feel
you.
very good,
I'm seeing a little too much Jimmy right now.
Mr. Stark. I don't feel.
I can't look ready. I can't look right at your window. I'm gonna go fucking blind. All right, Tyler, give me some MSI analysis there, homeboy. What you got?
Very white.
You're looking very white.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
I would like to start my analysis by posing a question. Who is currently the best mid laner at MSI?
Caps.
Mid lane?
Mid laner.
I have a feeling you're gonna tell me no matter what I say. Hmm. 1 second here. I would say Caps.
I mean, I think it's between Xiaohu, Caps, and whoever is for KZ. I don't know.
Or is it Maple?
I think Maple's good, but I don't know if Maple's the best.
Maple's KDA right now is 30, by the way.
Holy fuck.
Second place behind
Right,
him
but
is 5.6.
See, this is where you get into the conversation of like whether the player makes it worth it because of his KDA or whether it's good because he makes plays that help the team. And yeah, maybe his KDA is not that great, but he also is out there doing the things that he needs to win. So,
And I'm going to fire back with that, with saying his kill participation is about 75%, which is, I think, middle of the
but
pack.
does that just mean his team's shit? I mean, seriously, is there a difference?
How do you
There's
have that many
There's also a
high
difference between your
kills?
team being shit and like you being you being a carry on your team and you carrying your team, if you will.
So put it this way: the only reason why his KDA is so good is because he has 2 deaths in the entire tournament. But out of that, he's participated in 75% of the kills that the team's had. Now, let me move you to the real mid laner that's the best in the tournament, and that's Caps. And here's why.
Boom.
He has
Told you.
31 total kills under his belt and 12 deaths, which is why his ratio drops lower. But his assists are middle of the range. He has one of the highest CS per minute out of any mid laner, and his kill participation higher than anyone else's by 12% almost. Actually, it's 8%. It's 82%. So that means that in the proximity of Fnatic as a team, Caps has had more of an impact in a fight than any other mid laner. And that's off of kill participation. So yes, my answer is I've been watching Fnatic for a long time. And while Flash Wolves has dominated the tournament and they're currently 6-0, I think Fnatic's been putting on almost the best performance out of anyone, honestly. They've taken a game off of pretty much everyone at this point, I believe, right? Yeah.
Maybe not as a team best performance, because I think if you're 4-0 or whatever the Flash Wolves are, I think you're clearly performing the best.
But
Obviously.
But is it the team is the best, or it's just their strategies have been more clear? Because when we first started watching teams drop games at the beginning, around day 2 or 3, everyone came up with this idea, and they're like, hey, what if we just play this tournament our way instead of the Korean way? And everyone's like, nah. That's not how this works. Team Liquid's like, no. Royal's like, no. Fnatic's like, I fucking think we got something here, guys. And Fnatic started that push. Flash Wolves have been doing a good job. They barely held out day one, but once they started to see Fnatic and these other teams play their own game, that's the only reason why they started catching up, because they realized that.
I mean, this is something I've been saying since the dawn of like my League of Legends analysis career. It doesn't have to be your region's whatever, your region's style or whatever, this Korean meta and this North American meta and all this. Dude, play the fucking game that your characters can dude, okay. Play what your players play, you know what I mean? Like you don't always have to play what the best is when when you can perform on that. I mean, there's a huge like psychoanalysis study that actually showed it was a psychology study on people playing fighting games, and they did a pretty solid study, and it had some pretty conclusive evidence that showed the people who played actual characters that embodied their own mental attributes were better at the game. I mean, they played better when they were represented like Rekkles, dude. You gotta put that dude on like Tristana or something where he can push the side lanes, where he can push towers, and he can still have that late game hyperscaling. You know, you have to put people on what they belong on, and that has been the crux of so many teams where they try and play this Korean meta because what's the best is the best in Korea and da da da. But like when it comes down to it, play your 4-1s, play your 1-3-1s, play whatever your team is best at, because your team will shine best at what they do, what they enjoy playing. It's just the way humans are.
I mean, that's highlighted best by Fnatic and Liquid, if you ask me, because in the very first game of the tournament, Fnatic versus RNG, what happened? Fnatic picked Kaisa, which I don't think Rekkles has ever played once in a competitive game that we've seen in EU LCS. Then proceeds to play extremely safe because he's so afraid of the bot lane of Uzi, which I can understand. Uzi's great, but Rekkles is like designed to be the super hyper aggressive carry. Like he does the craziest shit on
Pick
the
him
craziest
Tristana.
champions.
Pick him Tristana and they'll jump in.
And it took them
Do stupid
until
shit.
the second day to really figure that out, or the second game. But that's where the downfall is. That's the perfect example I have for what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean it's just the way it is. I mean, you can't split people from their personality, and you gotta let them play what they're gonna play. You know, that's why when people talk about top laners, specifically is one good example I can think of where they're like, well, Solo is really good at pressure. You know, that's the style that he plays, and he's really good at it. And yeah, maybe stats don't reflect that, but like, I mean, the idea of having a play style is important, and like making people comfortable in their play style is really important. And international tournaments, I've been saying for a long time, like NA has always been trying to play the Korean meta for the international tournaments, and they never seem to make a good use of it.
Right.
They just have to play what they're good at. Specifically, CLG last year at MSI, when they played a total 1-3-1 style, they actually won MSI because they were playing 1-3-1 and playing classic CLG split push strategies
On comfort.
like on comfort picks. Exactly what I'm saying.
Not
like,
meta picks, comfort picks.
they played exactly what they wanted to play, and they won, and that's what they need. Like, that's what every team needs to do. It doesn't need to be this meta or that meta,
right,
per se. I mean, there can be strong picks, there can be power picks, but it doesn't have to be play this exact style every game.
And that's really hard to say out loud, because obviously you think to yourself, like that fucks you up. Like, if I know that in this patch LeBlanc does extremely well versus a lot of other mid laners because of her recent changes, but I play Orianna really well, that's gonna fuck me up. Like, I'm gonna be saying, why aren't I playing the champion that is really good right now? What happens if I go against the guy that has the champion that's really good right now? Like, it really screws you up in a sense when you try to think about it like that. But
Yeah. I mean, really what it comes down to, in my opinion, runes and masteries all together and balance the champions on their own. That's my personal opinion, is that it just creates too much power dynamics between each champion. They just need to be balanced on their own merits.
so I have a question for you, and this kind of breaches the subject of NA, but if we're talking about going in and playing our own respective game in an international sense, I saw this a little bit with Echo Fox. I don't think it was this year. I think it was last year. I saw this with Echo Fox, where I felt like they were playing like a more international sense. Like they were trying to play a Korean style meta that they adopted decently well from what I heard, but it just never worked in NA. And so I don't know if that means that you are literally stuck to learning your own region's like meta in game, or can people that like have a perfected style from China come in and just sweep the floor in North America? Like it, that's the only issue I have. It feels like it's really hard.
So, yeah, I mean, that's where you really break down super dynamics. I mean, when you think about it, like it creates less of a dynamic. When you're playing a North American style in North America, let's say you're playing against 8 teams that play the same style.
Right.
Okay, so if you change your style, now the one thing that they have to learn is how to counter your style to beat you. Does that make sense? So instead of just having to learn how to play against your specific characters in that style and your specific takes on that style, instead all they have to do is counter your style
Right.
in a sense, and that way they can beat you. So let's say like your EU coming into North America and you're just playing a bottom laid back centric, the bottom lane scales and carries late. You can counter that pretty hard by focusing the bottom lane,
Right.
and that's pretty easy to do regardless of champion select or whatever. You can just pick a early game jungler and just sit bottom and shit on, someone like a TSM bottom lane or something.
But does that mean that you can? But does that mean that you can use that to gain better experience on a more international level? We see people like importing all these
Yeah.
players or teams over, like with Zen and Mythy.
Yeah, but I mean that's like a secondary thing. Like I'm just saying that the reason why you can't, if you're one team out of 10 or whatever it is, practicing one style and everyone else is practicing another style, and they can just, oh well, the easy counter to that style is this, and they can just shit on you. Like it's not necessarily a advantage. But when you're playing in a tournament with LCK styles, and LMS styles, and EU styles, and NA styles, that you can really take advantage by just using your style and saying we're going to play the way that we play. And, either you have to adapt to what we're doing or you lose because you're trying to play Korean style or whatever it is,
So I mean,
I'm just saying it's another layer of advantage.
I know. I guess the
You can't like win off of just playing your style, but
Right.
you have to layer your advantages for sure.
So are teams winning and losing because we're thinking that whatever the region's own selection is basically having a better effect on an international level, or is there more to it than just
No. So really, it's like everyone thinks that because Koreans win international events that they have the best style, so everyone tries to adopt the Korean style for the international tournaments. And then when they try and adopt the Korean style, the Koreans are the best at it because they're the Koreans and they've been living in that style forever. Like if you want to beat the Koreans, you have to put them off tilt. You have to play your own style. And yeah, if they can adopt your style and they can beat your style, then I guess you fucking lose, but at least you tried.
So that-
Yeah.
If you're sitting there playing Korean League of Legends with Koreans, you're gonna lose against the Koreans.
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
So I mean, play what you can play best. Play the best League of Legends that you can play. That's what really upsets me is that everyone's out there playing the best Korean League of Legends they can play, trying to play around the Korean metas, instead of playing the best League of Legends that each individual region and each individual team can play. And once they do that, and once I really see them play it out, maybe it's happened in scrims and just like North American League of Legends is just absolute shit, and maybe I'm just wrong and don't have the insider information. But from what I see on stage, it looks like everyone's trying to play Korean League of Legends. The Koreans are best at it, and no one's even really tried to play their own League of Legends into it. And whenever I see them do that, when I saw RNG play that back in the day before they were Royal Never Give Up, they were just Royal Club. They got to semis. They were really strong. Did they make finals as RNG? Royal Club.
As Starhorn
yeah,
Starhorn
I
did.
believe so. Yeah, so they played their own Chinese style of League of Legends, and they definitely like made it really far. And they were playing their own style, and yeah, they lost finals. But like, I saw them as like the biggest competitors because they did a great job. I mean, that's what's really frustrated me, specifically about the North Americans, CK, and the other leagues around. They bring their own flares, but it seems like specifically North America and to some extent European League of Legends teams just kind of try and take on Korean aspects, and they just don't win with it.
So 2 more discussion posts.
Yeah.
Coming off of MSI's press release session that they just had from day 2, Fnatic noted that they're extremely confused as to what's going on with Liquid because in scrim results, things looked a lot better for them in the first place. Like, whatever is going on now seems like an internal breakdown or meltdown. We can say all we want about the team having issues, but this still doesn't change the fact that this is something that's happened literally every single year. Because every year TSM's gone to Worlds, they've had good scrim results we see, like those times they've beaten SKT, and then they still choke. So is this an NA mentality, or is there literally actual issues with our gameplay? Is it mental or physical?
It's a good question.
I think it's a mental game. I mean, you just look at the way like he essentially benched himself. Like there's pretty much no real reason that I see other than mental aspects. I mean, what happens? TSM does really good in scrims. Oh, everyone's really afraid of this tournament. And then what happens on stage is TSM looks like absolute cancer. Like they look like they have no idea what they're doing. Like it couldn't possibly be that we're bad. I mean, just look at the evidence, man. It looks like everyone's just like actively not doing what they're supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. Like everyone just seems like they're on some like far off planet trying to think about what they should do instead of actually just doing what they know they should do. And everyone looks so nervous forever. Like for as long as I can imagine North America, everyone appears to not know what they're doing. And that seems to be a trend in North America. We get stage fright for sure in the international tournaments. I think a part of that is the fact that everyone's talked about the Korean gap and how we just can't possibly hold up to them. And it's been a talking point in every Worlds ever that I've been a part of. It's just like, oh, well, the Koreans are just going to dump on North America. And then like you see the North Americans looking like apes and you're like, okay, well, TSM didn't play like this before. What's going on? It has to be internal. Like it has to be an internal struggle, in my opinion.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think also based on like what is placed to what you guys said earlier about play styles and stuff. I think a lot of it comes down to coaching. Honestly, that's kind of where I think that's a lot of kind of where League is headed. Like, I think
but Reaper came over and he hasn't fixed any.
Well, I think like the ability to like instill what's what I'm like almost like a winning culture for an organization. Like I think by this point, NA teams go to these international tournaments, and deep down inside, part of them is like, we're gonna lose. We lose every year, and that's exactly what not having a winning culture is. You wanna. And I think it goes back to earlier what Jimmy said is you need to, as a coach, you need to figure out what your players are good at, and you need to help them and show them how to force other teams to play the style that your team is good at. And I think you can figure out like, oh, my team, my players have these individual skill sets. How can I make those work? And how can I force other teams to play into our style? And I think that might be a big part of, like, because like Jimmy said, everybody's trying to play this Korean style. So I think as a coach, if you can figure out what your players are good at, and you can, like I said, force teams to play your style. Not that that's super easy, and not that I even know how, but I think that's something you can definitely work on. But I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it's the organization. Like, I don't know what the hell happened with Ole. Why did he bench himself? That there's got to be something more than just he just didn't want to play. Like, I would think there's something else wrong. So maybe it's on the organization. Maybe not.
It's
I don't
the
know.
pressure. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what exactly it is, but it's got to be the pressure, dude.
But but like as a coach or an organization, you should have the ability to alleviate that pressure from your players. If your players are feeling so pressured going into a tournament that they just don't want to play, you have failed as a owner, manager, coach, organization, whatever. You've done your job wrong at that point.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Or is the issue that we don't have enough international tournaments to get people accustomed to this? Because this is this is arguably Ole's first huge event, right? I mean, he did. Was he on Immortals last year?
No.
Exactly. So this is his first huge international event, which arguably I can understand him being stressed, but I mean, there are a lot of other rookies that are doing great, so I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but
yeah, it doesn't make it better.
I mean, it doesn't, but I mean, adding on to what Carson initially said, we had Weldon, one of the best arguable sports psychologists in our field, come over for TSM for the whole year, and by the time he left, he said there's some deep shit going on there that even he can't figure out and fix. I mean, that just explains things. But at the same time, the best year I feel like we've ever had was the year that a group of scraggly young men from China came over and started kicking all of our asses in NALCS. And for some reason, I can't remember their team name. I feel like I should. The Chinese.
Yeah, who the fuck are you talking about?
The Chinese team. There's only one Chinese team that came over to North America.
Curse?
They're not Chinese.
So while I was looking that up, is there any? So you said like we're winning.
LMQ.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I remember slightly. Did they do good?
Yeah, they literally destroyed us. They finished one split in first place, and I think Cloud9 barely ended up winning. But it was this huge issue where TSM, I guess it was Curse at that time, and Cloud9, all the big teams were just like, how are we gonna let these people come in here that aren't even NA born, back before the rule about 3/5 was there, and just destroy us on our home turf? And they ended up representing us in Worlds, but they didn't do good. All the other teams did good.
Speaking of which, 3/5 is an excellent point of contention. We should definitely continue on that track.
What, the 3/5 rule?
Sorry, I just died inside because 3/5 was kind of like a Jim Crow law that only allowed black people 3/5 of a vote, which was really dumb, bad, awful, horrific.
Are we saying the Jim Crow laws bad or the League of Legends laws?
No, I'm just saying it was like a pretty poor choice.
Which one's a poor choice, Jim Crow or League of Legends?
Well, obviously the Jim Crows, but I'm just saying like picking the same number.
I like the 3/5. I honestly wish it was higher.
Can we, for some listeners who don't know what that is, could you elaborate on what the 3/5 rule is?
So you can only have three normal players from NA, and then you can have 2 imports, meaning if someone's a Korean player or a European player or a Canadian player, you can bring them over and they can play on your North American team, but you can only have 2 per team.
And what's the rule? Is it 3 or 5 years before you get residency status? I think it's 3 years.
It was 3 years. I believe it got moved beyond that. I'm not sure what it got moved to, but I'm fairly certain that it got bumped up.
So now, essentially, if you want to play in North America and you're not from North America, you have to take over some team's import slot, which you get 2 of.
Yes.
2 active, so you can have secondaries
Yes.
that are imports, but only on an active roster you can have 2 imports, and they need to be staying in North America actively for X amount of years before you get marked as a resident. Yeah. Which is, I think the timeline is very long, but I like the rule, honestly. I wish it was higher.
You mean you want more imports or you want less
No,
imports?
I would do less imports. I would lower the time it takes to become a resident, but I would do it like 4/5. I'd have it be 4 people that have to be, American born on your entire roster of like 7 people total, I think, with subs.
Some people would say, based on what the skill level seems to be between Korea and US, that you're severely limiting the potential for US teams to succeed against these international teams. I'm not saying that, but that's an argument that somebody could make.
Really so great here. Impact's just changed the entire scene.
Or Someday,
he joined.
Looper, Sven and Mithy have done great so far.
Yes, they've completely changed the entire.
Okay, all right.
No,
I get it.
It's a solid argument because it makes sense.
Okay, so this kind of like brings me into my other argument. We're always talking about how, well, North America. They can match up, but they're just years behind Korea. And when's this gap going to close? Well, here's the thing is that the Koreans have been learning how to do team play as fast as we have, but we've learned the mechanics just as good as them, I believe. I believe the top tier of our, League of Legends have learned the mechanics just as well as them. It took us slightly longer, but now we're at the point where they've learned team play beyond us, right? Like,
right.
It even looks like, when you get down to it, yeah, we could try and play North American League of Legends against them, but quite frankly, their team play is very, very clean right now. And along with Flash Wolves and Royal, like they're very, very clean.
Right.
And they've learned team play faster than we have. And there's really there's this idea of catch up is not really a thing. Like everyone's continuously learning how to play this game. It doesn't necessarily just the high bar does not just stay the same. It's continuously going up. People are learning how to play with each other better. People are learning how to combo skills together. People are learning how to build team comps better.
Right.
And it's not just going away.
I mean, this
idea of mechanical skill gap is gone, but the rest of the gap is still there.
Yeah. So think about how long like other sports like baseball, football. Think about how long they've been around. Think about how much they've evolved, how many different changes they've gone through, how long it's taken people to realize what's good. Basketball, for example. Nowadays, back in the day, like 3-pointers weren't as big of a deal. Nowadays, every single person on the team can shoot threes. League of Legends is a very, very young sport. So think about how much more evolution, how many more strategies, how much more the game has to evolve. And like I said, I think that comes back to coaching. I think coaching is going to take it's going to expand a lot, I think, in the future, because it's not just 5 guys playing a video game. There's so much more money going into it, which means that they're going to put that money into research, into more staffing, into better coaching. I could see, I think they probably already have this, but I could see a day where it's like big teams have like 2 or 3 coaches for each role. You have like a head coach who's a coach of the whole team, and then you have like 5 individual coaches for each role to work individually with that person. So I mean, I think, and like I said, the game has a lot more evolving to do, and I think with all this money coming in, you're going to see a big expansion of like basically the R&D department for these teams.
Especially with how few players there are, that's not an unrealistic estimate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think
So that's where I see it going.
I think the gap is just an idea of who is the most comfortable playing together. That's what it feels like to me. What if we go off of the basis that everyone is mechanically gifted, which you have to be high level in League of Legends in the first place.
Yep.
I mean, we still see people from Europe going over to Korea servers and ended up challenger in like 2 days. So obviously these people are good. The gap is a contingent of how comfortable is your region and your team together as a unit. And I feel like the teams that make the most changes off season, the regions that make the most changes off season, probably on a scale you can lay it out and see that they probably are not doing very good. Because there's only one
Really?
region I can think of that has a lot of changes in off season, and I wonder what they're doing right now.
Getting their asses kicked.
SKT changes like every year, though.
I mean, like barely. I mean,
SKT has a lot more consistency, though. Yeah.
They keep
ahead,
their
Tyler,
core
sorry.
as much as possible, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Because all you need is just Faker, Bang, and Wolf. And as they start to lose players, yeah, they get forced to. But to be fair, they haven't really made any major changes, and they've won seasons every single time, which shows that as a group, they're able to basically incorporate any player into it and fundamentally get them hooked up and ready to go instantly. So maybe SKT is just an example of a team that literally has just the best support staff of all time. But that's also not relevant because last year they didn't win. So they literally had arguably one of the best junglers of that season, essentially.
I
mean, that seems a little harsh, man. They second for like the what? They have top 2 4 years or something like that. Like
yeah, but
that seems pretty.
When you have a team like
pretty
that,
harsh on
and
them.
you literally bring in better players, there's no reason why you should lose. Like there's just no reason, and that's
I think
that's
Fnatic,
the Liquid thing too.
Yeah, Fnatic's a good example of that too. They've been consistently decent for a long time, and like Tyler said, they haven't done a lot of change. So I think they probably try to actively avoid change unless they think it'll make their team extremely better, which I don't know. But like Rekkles has been there for as long as I can remember.
I mean, their core group is great. That's actually the example I want to use. Out of the West, Fnatic is the most comfortable team right now, and it clearly shows. I mean, they went what? They went 0-3 in Worlds last year, and then second round went 3-3, moved on, and took a game off of RNG. And now they're also taking games off of RNG and Kingzone. Like they're doing great, and it shows. It's a long-term investment, which is why you just need to keep your flipping players. Stop trading for better people. Just because they're better in solo queue doesn't mean that they're better as a team.
Well, yeah. Yep. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I mean, I was just saying that. Really, you're right. Like we need to move towards the team idea. CLG comes to mind specifically, where they broke up a team that had played together for years, and first they got rid of Smithy, and then they
come back.
Let's get rid of our jungler. Who's their
They had Smithy.
Their entire bot lane. Oh, that's it.
And then they
got rid of their entire.
Afromu.
Yeah.
They kept Stixay and chose to leave Afromu for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they picked
dumb.
Darshan and then dropped Darshan.
Pro sports are so reactive.
Yeah.
You see this in other sports too. So for example, in NBA basketball, the Toronto Raptors this year had the best record in the Eastern Conference. Their head coach, they were the number 1 seed in the playoffs. They had the best record in the Eastern Conference. Their head coach won the National Basketball Coaching Association's Coach of the Year. 2 days later, he got fired because they got swept in the playoffs by LeBron. Coach of the Year, best record in the East, took their team number 1 seed in the playoffs, gets fired. So it's just an example of like if you don't get results, like they have to make a change. And I think a lot of these league teams are kind of the same thing. We don't have results, well, we got to change something. And they're not giving their teams enough time to synergize, like Tyler said, and get, it's a team sport first and foremost. And I think hopefully teams will start to realize that sooner rather than later.
So I want to unless you have something to say, Jimmy.
Nope.
Okay,
That summed it up.
I'm gonna wrap it up pretty much because I want to ask the big question. The question is do these stand-ins stay in MSI? Do we think Flash Wolves is gonna win it and Korea is gonna get second?
How many days do we have left for group stage?
2 more days. Tomorrow and the next day, I believe.
I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yep, 2 more days.
Tuesday's the last day.
Yep. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I don't know if Flash Wolves takes it, but I know NA stays in the dirt. I
No-
think E stays around second or third. I think Flash Wolves and KZ are like top 2.
So do it this way. Pick 4 teams. Pick your knockout stage. Who are we gonna see in the knockout?
I don't know who the 4th team is, but it's not the other wild card.
I think you're gonna see Kingzone, RNG, Fnatic, and Flash Wolves. I think those are gonna be your top 4.
Yeah.
Flash Wolves,
That's
yeah. Evos and Team Liquid,
Flash
they're
Wolves is cemented, so 100% Flash Wolves
Yep.
is
Yep.
for sure. So
Fnatic's been playing too well. I think they've got 2 more days. I think they'll be fine. They'll make it. Kingzone, obviously, they're one of the better teams. I think they'll make it. And basically, it comes down to Liquid and Evos are just not. They're not playing on the same levels as the other 4 teams. I think there's a clear difference there between those top 4 and those bottom 2. So I think it's a pretty easy pick for me.
There's glimpses for Team Liquid, but it's just not there.
It's too late. I think they've
it's
already.
literally win every single game, and even then, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
The
they're
way they've
pretty
been playing, I don't think they'll win every single game. No way.
No, I think they're pretty
Yeah.
Now their job is to take games off of Korea. I want to see Royal take games off Korea, and I want to see Liquid take 1 game off of Korea. That's their job. If they can do that,
And
then
is-
the West will have a chance.
Kingzone is Korea, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Who do you guys think is going to win the whole thing?
Not Flash Wolves, honestly.
It'd be cool, but I think you're right.
I don't know. I want to say RNG, but after all these years of voting for Izzy, I don't know if I have faith anymore.
I'm gonna go with Fnatic. I mean, I've had faith in Fnatic.
I was thinking
and
that. Yeah.
they're feeling so good this year, and the fact that they've already taken games off these people. I mean, Fnatic is a home run team. You put them in a best of 5, and you're gonna really see what they can do, especially with Soaz as a backup.
Because of
So-
their amazing support staff and their coaching staff.
They do have a really good
I'm on the
team.
coaching
They
train,
did get
yeah.
they did get what's his name? Young Buck. I do like Young Buck.
Yeah.
Honestly. When he
I
got
think a
pulled from
Fnatic
G2.
Kingzone final would be hype as fuck.
That's what I want to see. That's honestly what I want to see, and it's very realistic. China's known to choke, so
Do they know like when the final match? I mean, obviously they've got the final match scheduled. Like, is it on like on a weekend, or like a weekend night? That'd be sweet. So I'd like to watch that.
finals is going to be Sunday, but at 5 a.m.
Yeah, so I could do that.
Ouch.
That's not
5 a.m.
bad.
my time, so 4 a.m.
Oh wait, on the Sunday.
So that's 4 a.m. our time. So that's
Yeah.
I
I
was
could
thinking it was
totally
like
do that.
Monday, 5 a.m.
No, it's this Sunday, right?
If it's Fnatic Kingzone, I'll watch that shit.
Oh yeah,
I'll get it
watch
before. I'll get it
Fnatic
before
if
I
they get
watch
there.
that for sure. Cool. All right. Are we good, boys? We good to wrap it up for this week?
I think so.
Hey,
Time to make more cheese dip.
Oof.
that was a fucking good show. Good job all around
Thanks, Dad.
for Jimmy, Guagdiggly, Ron Schmidt, Tyler, Asterox, Katzman,
Hey,
Carson, me, myself, and Kate Quinnell.
hey.
This has been week 13. Tyler, you ready to play me out, bud?
Yeah, just give me
Pro-
give me an end quote. Give me an
Pro-
end quote that remembers.
Producer
that.
/ star of the show. Give you an end quote.
I want give me a 1-line quote, and then I'm gonna fade it out from there.
We'll be back and better than ever next week on the Hot Garbage Podcast. Good night, everybody.
You don't matter, you're no fun, your friends aren't cool, and what you do is nothing to brag about, unless it's something everyone has been talking about, or wish that they had. If it's branded as valuable, and if it gets a lot of looks, if your social status improves, then then she might take interest in you. But that's the only reason why she would. She's not a good person, she's only cute. And this selfish, shallow piece of shit inside of her makes her ugly as sin. Time and time again, I've given her a chance. I'd almost believed that there was a human inside of her that really fucking cared. But I asked for too much, invested in a hollow, empty shell, the kind that gets filled with superficial trash. Not a